If I had come home just 3 days later, my daughter might not be alive today. I thought I was returning early from a business trip to surprise her with a stuffed puppy. Instead, I walked into a nightmare that exposed a betrayal so horrifying it destroyed my marriage, nearly cost my little girl her life, and ended with my wife being led away in handcuffs. My name is Kevin Wood. I'm 41 years old, and I work as a senior business executive in Chicago. My job is negotiating high-value contracts and spotting hidden risks before anyone else does. I spent years believing I could read people better than most. The truth is, I completely failed to see what was happening inside my own home. My daughter, Tessa, lost her mother when she was only 2 years old. For 3 years, it was just the two of us, and we built a simple, happy life together. Then I met Zena. She was warm, charming, and seemed to adore Tessa. She quickly became the perfect stepmother in everyone's eyes. After we married, I believed our family was finally complete. Because my job required constant travel, I trusted Zena to care for Tessa while I was away. Whenever Tessa's teacher mentioned she looked unusually tired, or Zena texted that she had bumped her head or caught another cold, I accepted every explanation without question. Looking back, every incident happened while I was traveling. I simply never connected the dots. Everything changed when a business deal collapsed, and I returned home 3 days earlier than expected, carrying a stuffed dog I had bought for Tessa. I walked into the house just before midnight and found her lying unconscious in the hallway, barely breathing. While I desperately called for an ambulance, Zena stood nearby and calmly insisted Tessa was only being dramatic after being disciplined. At the hospital, a paramedic quietly pulled me aside and asked if I was usually away for work. When I said yes, he told me he had been to my house months earlier after responding to another emergency involving Tessa. According to Zena, my daughter had accidentally overdosed on antihistamines because she supposedly had behavioral problems and constantly got into medicine cabinets. Child Protective Services had even been notified. I had never heard a single word about any of it. Sitting in the waiting room, I logged into my insurance account and discovered a horrifying pattern. Every ambulance ride, emergency room visit, and prescription for antihistamines matched one of my business trips. Zena had even avoided Tessa's regular pediatrician by using unfamiliar walk-in clinics that would not question her story. When the doctor confirmed dangerous levels of antihistamines in Tessa's system, Zena immediately claimed she must have gotten into the medicine cabinet again. That single sentence exposed her. She quickly tried to correct herself, but the damage was done. The hospital immediately reported the case to Child Protective Services. The next morning, I finally spoke with Tessa alone. I gently asked what happened whenever I traveled. She quietly told me Zena always gave her a sleepy drink whenever friends came over because it made her sleep for hours. Then she looked at me and said, "It made the whole world feel like it was underwater." Hearing those words broke my heart. But I stayed calm because I knew my daughter needed me to think clearly. Instead of acting out of anger, I did what I had spent my career doing. I gathered evidence. I collected company travel records, insurance claims, medical reports, prescription histories, and every documented emergency visit. Together they formed one undeniable timeline, proving every incident happened only when I was out of town. The investigator reviewed everything and immediately upgraded the case. A family attorney secured an emergency protective order within hours, giving Zena no legal access to Tessa, while police prepared felony child endangerment charges. Knowing Zena's routine, I informed investigators she would be having lunch with friends at her favorite restaurant. Police and Child Protective Services walked in during lunch, placed the court order in front of her, and arrested her in full view of everyone she had worked so hard to impress. For the first time, there were no excuses, no manipulation, and no way to escape the truth. That afternoon, I changed every lock, removed her from our bank accounts, insurance, and school records, and made sure every legal detail was completed. When Tessa finally came home from the hospital, she stepped inside, looked around, and smiled. She quietly said, "The house smells different, like someone had opened a window." We ordered her favorite deep dish pizza, watched nature documentaries together, and before long, she fell asleep on my shoulder. It was the first time in years she had slept peacefully without fear or medication. Later that night, I received confirmation that Zena had officially been booked on felony child endangerment charges. That experience taught me something I will never forget. I spent years protecting my company from bad deals while assuming my home was the one place that never needed questioning. Almost lost my daughter because of that mistake. Some betrayals can be forgiven, but when someone harms your child, there is only one choice. You close the door forever and never look back.